Welcome to the Toddcast, your weekly leadership nudge. My name is Todd Long, your host. Last week I started a series that I've entitled Emotions of Leading People. I'm going to continue down that framework or that thought, and I want to focus on belonging. This past week I got to travel to Nashville, Tennessee to do some work with a client that I've been working with for several years, and I had two experiences that connect directly to this topic. First, I got to go play pickleball. I love when I go to new places to find a place to go hang out, play pickleball, add to my list of states of where I've played pickleball. Found this place called Dinkville. Signed up, showed up around 6 o'clock, and there were some guys playing pickleball. I sat, got my shoes on, got myself ready. This guy came over, his name is Jerry, and welcomed me into the group. I started to meet the guys that were playing, jumped into the game. We played for about an hour and a half and had a fantastic time. And Jerry did a fantastic job of making me feel welcome into that community of pickleball players. That evening after I went back, took a shower, I was heading out to eat some dinner, and I ran into my key contact person with this client that I get to work with. Her name is Megan, and Megan immediately smiled and welcomed me and was so glad to see me, and I was so glad to see her as well. I felt like I was part of the family immediately, even though I was an external person helping out this company, which I've been working with for a number of years and have some background experience, some time with them, and she made me feel welcome and valued and part of the team. I am so blessed to be a part of such great communities that help me feel like I belong. It starts with my wife and my family. It extends out to my friends and to my church and my working relationships. And I can tell you I'm so grateful to have lots of groups that I feel like I belong to. And I think about as leaders how important it is that we foster this sense of belonging in the people and the groups that we're a part of. And that's the focus today. I want to talk about the importance of belonging as we lead others. I want to talk about the benefits and then give you some ways to nurture belonging in the teams that you're a part of or the teams that you lead. Let's make this happen. Welcome to the Toddcast, your weekly leadership nudge. Welcome to the Toddcast, great ideas you'll love. Let me start with the definition of belonging. Belonging is the emotional and psychological experience of being accepted, valued, and safe within a group of people. Think about those three words: accepted, valued, and safe within a group of people. There was some research that these two gentlemen did a number of years ago, Roy Baumeister and Mark Leary, and they did this research on the need to belong. And their statement was this: humans have a universal need to form and maintain lasting positive interpersonal relationships. I'm kind of like, yeah, no kidding. We know this as human beings in our experience in life. Then they go on to argue that it's not optional. Belonging is essential. It's as fundamental as food, safety, and sleep in terms of motivating behaviors. Wow. So belonging is one of the strongest predictors of human flourishing. Belonging influences our emotions, our identity, our health, our behaviors. And we understand this when we feel like we're a part of a group and we feel like we belong to this. All those things are ignited within us. I was working at a coffee shop this past week, and about 10 o'clock in the morning, these ladies started to trickle in and sit behind me. One of the ladies looked over at me and says, "Don't I know you?" I said, "Well, we may have met. I was here a couple of months ago, and I saw your women's group show up behind me." And so we may have met at that point. She started chatting, and we started talking together. Found out this was the church ladies group. They met every single Friday at 10 a.m., to get together, to talk, to share, to interact with one another. And you could see this sense of community, a sense of well-being, a sense of identity. I imagine that contributed to their own health, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and their own personal well-being. Think about that group. But we can also think about the teams that we're a part of. Teams that feel like they belong, and people that feel like they belong to a team are more engaged, trust is increased, they want to stick to it, and they're more committed to that group. People that feel like they belong to a group will take healthy risks. They'll collaborate more with others and better with others and have a sense of thriving emotions. We can contrast that when we don't feel like we belong. When people don't feel like they belong to a group, they feel lonely, anxiety is increased, there might be isolation, there'll be a sense of reduced motivation or engagement. So there's huge value in feeling like a person belongs to a group. We, again, know that for ourselves. Then as leaders, it's critical for us to foster that sense of belonging. Whether we're a team lead or a participant on a team, you can influence how people feel when they're a part of a group. And let me give you 4 ways to do this, 4 things to consider. They're somewhat in order, but I don't want you to think about these in terms of order. I want you to think about these in terms of things that have to happen in a group so someone feels like they belong to that group. The 4 things are, first of all, invitation. Second is destination. Third is expectations. And 4 is participation. Let's start with invitation. Invitation is simply you are seen and heard in a group. Get that? You're welcomed into it, but you're also seen and your voice is valuable. I like to eat at small town cafes. I love the food. I love the environment. I love the atmosphere. Well, sometimes the food. Sometimes the food can be questionable. But anyway, I do love it at small town cafes. And every time I walk into a small town cafe, the locals are there. And they look at you as you walk in. It feels like you're being assessed a little bit. Hey, is this somebody I know? Is this somebody that's part of our community? There's a sense of being evaluated whether you belong or not. Now I'm confident enough that I sit down and enjoy myself and eat the meal. It doesn't really bother me, but I recognize that look that you get. Then you see those people in the small town cafe. They see somebody they come in that they know. It's probably a family member, somebody they've worked with for years. They stand up, they greet them, they hug them, they have a great conversation. You see their face light up. That's the invitation, when the face lights up. A number of clients that I work for, I get that. I feel that sense of, hey, you're welcome here. You're seen, you're heard, and how critical that is to feel the feeling of belonging. Invitation is number 1. Number 2 is destination. Destination is simply feeling like you're a part of something bigger. There's something more that you're contributing to. A few years ago, I had the opportunity to work with a professional sports organization. And I get the motivation and the desire and the feeling of, wow, this is something great we're trying to contribute to. This is a really cool organization, and we're trying to provide a great product out in the field, and we're also want to create a healthy and dynamic organization. I could sense that as part of the organization. I've also worked for organizations where they sell parts and equipment, pieces of equipment and parts that go into other pieces of equipment and parts. And the motivational level there sometimes is a little bit less. How do you motivate and help someone feel like they belong to something greater when their job is to make or produce or package or distribute or move parts all the time? Now, you can help them think about the bigger picture of what that equipment goes to and how it's helping contribute to organizations, the infrastructure of our world, and that's great. I get it. Sometimes you can help people make that connection. But sometimes you have to help people think about that destination, that bigger picture, for themselves in terms of their own personal destination, to help them think about their opportunity to grow and learn and develop. And it might simply be like, hey, this is a great opportunity for you to work for an organization that is stable, and you're going to have a job here, and as long as you contribute and produce, you'll be able to provide for your family and participate in that way. So destination is number 2. Number 3 is expectations. And expectations are simply clarifying the values and norms that are expected when you are a part of this group. I have an organization that I work with that one of their values is we solve problems like a mechanic. I love that. I love that value. It's a very clear expectation about here's how we want to work together. I have another organization where they have a flexible work schedule where people get to work from home sometimes, but they also have to come into the office a certain number of days per week. One of the teams within that organization has made it an expectation, a norm, that the team will come together on the same day so that when they're in person together, they can collaborate, they can have conversations, they can interact in person and solve problems and work things out and collaborate more effectively. I've also seen expectation setting in terms of helping people feel belong when they're working virtually. One simple expectation is just simply having people turn the cameras on. There's a different sense of belonging to a group when you have face-to-face interaction versus just verbal interaction. So expectation setting is another aspect of helping people feel like they belong. And there's so many dynamics to setting expectations and so many things to think about in terms of helping people feel a part of an organization, feel a part of the team, and have that consistency there. We talked about invitation, destination, expectations. Number 4 is participation. For a person to feel like they belong to a team or an organization, They have to feel like their role and their responsibilities contribute to the bigger picture of the organization. As you help people feel like they belong, they need to have a clear sense of, this is my job and this is how it contributes to the organization, and I'm valued because of my skills and because of my knowledge. I recently was talking to one of the ladies I work with, one of my clients, and she shared with me that she's initiating a new employee onboarding process. Nobody told her to do this. She just recognized that there was a need for this in the organization. She took it upon herself and said, I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to help make this onboarding process even better. That is a person who belongs to the organization and knows their value and has the confidence to go contribute to that organization. Those are the 4 ways you can nurture belonging in a team: invitation, destination, expectations, and participation. Here's the try it out section. This is a one-on-one exercise. What I mean by that is I want you to invite someone that is on a team with you to have a one-on-one discussion with you. And I want you to focus that discussion on belonging. And here's how you do it. Invite them, say, hey, I'd love to have a conversation with you about belonging specifically on this team. And then use the framework that I just talked about of nurturing belonging and have a discussion. How is our team functioning in terms of invitation, destination, expectations, and participation? Have a conversation around that, evaluate that, talk about what's going well, what might need to be improved. And then if something's missing or you want to make something better, identify what that is and then take steps to make that happen. There's the try it out section. Here's the quote of the week. This is by Henry Nouwen. The best of community gives a deep sense of belonging and well-being. And in that sense, community takes away loneliness. Hey, thank you so much for listening to the Toddcast, your weekly leadership nudge. If you found this valuable, share it with somebody else. Do the try it out section. Listen to it again if you need to. I pray that you'll have the courage to nurture true belonging in the groups that you are part of. Again, thank you for listening. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.